No one remembered when the house first appeared. It stood at the edge of the forest, where the trees grew too close together, and the sunlight seemed afraid to touch the ground. Old maps didn't show it. The locals avoided talking about it. And yet, everyone knew exactly where it was. They just never went there. Ethan didn't believe in stories like that. He had moved into the nearby town after inheriting his uncle's belongings. A man he barely knew, who had lived alone and died suddenly under unclear circumstances. Among the dusty papers and strange trinkets was a single photograph. The house. It was taken at dusk. The windows were dark, but somehow watching. On the back of the photo, in shaky handwriting, were the words, "It sees when you look away." Ethan laughed it off until the first night. He woke up at exactly 3:17 a.m. No sound, no nightmare, just awake. His room felt wrong. The air was thick, like something had been breathing in it before he woke up. He sat up, listening. Nothing. Then he noticed it. The photograph was no longer on the desk. It was on the floor, facing him. The next day, Ethan blamed himself. Maybe he dropped it. Maybe he moved it in his sleep. But that didn't explain what he saw when he picked it up. The house in the photo had changed. One of the windows, on the second floor, now had a faint silhouette behind it. A figure, watching. He went to the town library. The librarian, an old woman with trembling hands, froze when she saw the photograph. "You shouldn't have that," she whispered. "Why?" Ethan asked. She hesitated, then leaned closer. "Because it remembers the people who look at it." Ethan scoffed. "It's just a house." The woman shook her head slowly. "No, it's not just a house. It's something that learned how to pretend." That night, Ethan locked his door. He placed the photograph face down. And still, at 3:17 a.m., he woke again. This time, there was a sound, a soft creak, from inside his room. He didn't move. The sound came again, closer, like a floorboard bending under weight. Ethan forced himself to turn his head. The photograph was standing upright on the desk, facing him, and the figure in the window was clearer now, too clear. It wasn't inside the house anymore. It was closer. Ethan grabbed the photo and threw it into a drawer. The noise stopped instantly. Silence returned, but sleep never did. Days passed. Ethan tried to ignore it, tried to convince himself it was stress, imagination, anything but real, until he noticed something impossible. Outside his own window, the forest had moved. The trees were closer to the house than before, just a little, but enough. And between them, barely visible, was something that hadn't been there yesterday. A shape, a structure, the house. Ethan drove out immediately. He followed the road from the photograph, deeper into the woods, until the air grew heavy and the radio filled with static. And then he saw it, exactly as in the photo, waiting. The front door was open. Of course it was. He stepped inside. The smell hit him first, dust, rot, and something sweet beneath it. The walls were covered in photographs. Hundreds. Thousands. Every single one showed the same thing. People. Looking at the house. Ethan moved deeper. Each step echoed too loudly, like the house wanted to hear him. At the end of the hallway was a mirror. He stopped, because he wasn't alone in the reflection. Behind him stood the figure. It was tall, wrong, its limbs too long, its face stretched into something that almost resembled a human smile, but failed in every detail. Its eyes were empty, but focused. On him. Ethan turned. Nothing. He looked back at the mirror, closer now, and then it spoke, not with a voice, but directly into his mind. "You looked." The lights went out. When Ethan woke up, he was back in his room. Morning sunlight filled the space. Everything was normal, except for one thing. On his desk was a new photograph. It showed his room, from the corner, taken at night. And in the darkness, standing beside his bed, was the figure, watching. And now, it didn't need the house anymore.